Oh, come on. Don't make it weird.
No. Make it weird.
Oh, you want me to make it weird?
Yeah, like really weird.
Okay. I think I could get behind that. I'm Harmony.
And I'm Haley.
And this is
Make It Weird.
Hello.
Hi.
And welcome
To Make It Weird.
the mini episode of Make It Weird.
The special mini episode of Make It Weird.
The super special. Really, really very special. Why is it special, Haley?
Because we're not doing headlines or little mini stories this time.
Oh my god, I'm not prepared.
But you literally are. We talked about this. Please don't.
Too bad I forgot everything.
Oh, fuck. This mini is a little bit different than what we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
This week, we actually want to talk about a true crime documentary that came out on Netflix a little bit ago, like maybe a week or so at this point.
It's still very new. The case has been around for a very long time, but the person in question is now on trial, so this is all kind of getting a lot more attention again, and it's a really good one to talk about.
Yeah.
It's a really important one to talk about, too, I think.
Mm-hmm. So the name of this documentary is Gone Girls.
Mm-hmm.
So I will admit, when I first saw the title, I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, isn't this what American Nightmare was about? Did you watch that documentary?
I did. Was that the one about the person that broke into their house?
That's the one about the, quote, Gone Girls kidnapping.
Yes,
where, like,
that's right.
they thought she faked her kidnapping.
Yes,
but
that was wild.
That guy had other victims. So I was like, obviously, this is just talking about, like, what happened to them and getting justice for them. Not, like, rolling my eyes like, oh, whatever. But, like, I
we're
know
doing this again. Yeah. But then there's also the fictional book that was made into a movie, too, Gone Girl, which is really good.
Well, that's why they named the Gone Girl case after.
It was supposed to be after the kidnapping one? The not fake kidnapping one?
Yeah. The name of, like, when, you know how they, like, the media will name events or whatever?
Yeah.
So the Gone Girl movie had come out, and then they accused that woman of faking her kidnapping and saying
vice versa. My bad. Okay.
Yes.
So they were trying to say that she
was inspired by Gone Girl.
Yeah. Which Gone Girl is actually a really good, well, I haven't read the book. They're a really good movie.
I think I fell asleep.
Okay, well, never mind. My opinion is garbage,
there have been a couple of times where you and I have started watching a movie and then one of us passes out.
Oh,
Hocus Pocus 2.
Absolutely.
Krampus.
Krampus was great because we convinced our partners, we're like, hey, we're going to watch Krampus. Please come watch it with us. We convinced them to come watch it. We fell asleep within like 20 minutes.
God, like immediately.
And then they were forced to watch it, and it's a bad movie. It's a very bad movie.
It was really bad. It was really bad. But yeah, so this doc, Gone Girls, is about the Long Island serial killer, which I had never heard of before.
I had not either, actually, and the whole thing is wild. But yeah, so we both watched the documentary. I actually also listened to 2 podcasts because I had a drive yesterday. So I listened to one podcast that is a couple years older than the documentary, and then I listened to one that is meant to be paired with it, and it's an interview of the director of the documentary. So we just want to talk about it. We're not providing like new information by any means. It just feels like a really cool one to talk about. It's I shouldn't say cool, but like it's a better word for cool. It's fun to talk about something. Wow, fun is worse.
It's interesting to talk about
when it is happening in real time, because a lot of times when we cover true crime stories, they have already happened. They're many, many years old. Yeah. So, it's neat to be chatting about it IRL.
Yeah. So one of the things that I thought was like really inspiring, a lot of this came out because this one woman, she was a sex worker, she went missing, and the police basically weren't like searching for her. They just basically didn't give a shit.
They wrote it off.
Yeah.
And that's the theme of all of these women that are missing and then end up their bodies being found, is that they're all sex workers, and initially the police do not put a lot, if any, effort into trying to find them. So that's kind of the overarching theme of everything, and they are often labeled by the police as, off the grid, or of course they're saying they ran away.
What did that one cop call it? Or was accused of calling it, allegedly call it,
he said, like, misdemeanor murders. Yes.
Like, what the fuck?
And then he tried to deny it. Well, he's a piece of garbage. That's the other thing, too, is there's all this fucking corruption in the middle of this that fucks everything over.
The first woman that the documentary talks about that goes missing, her name is Shannon, and her mom fought, like, tooth and fucking nail to get the police to actually do something. And I remember, like, watching the doc, because it starts it out, and it just tells you about this one this one missing woman, and they're like, oh yeah, we searched the dunes on the beach or whatever, we find a body. And I was like, oh, it's her body. And then it fucking wasn't.
not.
And then they found 2 more bodies.
Yep.
And then a total, how many bodies total did they find? Do we remember?
I think towards the end it was like 11.
Like 10 or 11, yes.
Exactly. So there's the Gilgo 4, which is Gilgo Beach, and those are the 4 main bodies that they find that are in similar circumstances. They're wrapped in burlap, they're pretty close to each other, and then, yes, they start finding more. At one point, too, they find the remains of a child and a man,
They never talked about the kid again, though.
No, because it was a what do they call it? Jane
Doe.
But they call it something for a child. I don't know.
I think it was like child doe.
Child doe or something, yeah. But they don't really get into that. That's one of those two, like, it's hard for them to put together how that could be related to the same person. But anyways, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, dude, do it. Like, interject. Okay. We both have stuff to say about this. It was a really interesting doc.
It was, yeah.
I thought was, like, super engaging and well written.
Very engaging. I appreciate, too, a documentary that isn't too filled with fluff and isn't too long. Like, it's, it is nice every now and then you watch one that's, like, 6 to 8 episodes, you really get into it. But sometimes it feels like, okay, we are just here for the drama. If we cut the drama out, this could be 2 to 3 episodes. And this one is 3 episodes, and I feel like that was perfect.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, every time that you turned your head, you were, like, getting hit with some new, like, important bit of information, too. Like, it all felt super relevant.
Yeah, there was many times that I, like, would get a notification on my phone, and I would check it, and then I would go back, and only like, 20 seconds had passed, but I was like, oh, shit, I missed something. Like, I gotta rewind it.
There was another one who went missing, and I thought it was, I guess we should back up a little bit, too. After those 4 bodies, the Gilgo 4 were found, the police basically didn't really do anything. There was a new, not like police chief, but a new person came over and took over the department.
I think it was the DA.
Yeah, and she kicked ass.
Yeah,
like, she made
awesome.
it her whole mission.
Well, she just came in there and did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
These 2 fucking corrupt pieces of garbage men that were in there before, like, yeah, they had all kinds of problems, and it's not really worth, like, talking about them or getting into it. They were corrupt, and they went to jail for it, and I think one of them may still be in jail. But the thing about these 2 is that the bodies, the women didn't go missing, and the bodies weren't found until, it was like 2012 or something.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time, and
some of these, one of the bodies was from like 83, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, because the guy, how old is the guy that's convicted?
Oh, he's got to be in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah, close to 60, I think. So, I mean, this is one of hundreds, if not thousands, of cases of sex workers who have gone missing, who are not given the attention they need because the police judge and assume that they are on drugs and have run away or overdosed somewhere. They'll show up, blah, 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 and it's just not worth their time. And the really cool thing about this one in particular is that the loved ones of the women who went missing proved them wrong so well. Because, like we were talking about Shannon, the woman who blew the whole case open in the first place, Shannon Gilbert, her mom was expecting to see her and didn't see her and immediately reported her missing. There was no time lost. There was no, like, should I report her, etc. And she fought tooth and nail. She was, like, holding up posters. She was constantly, like, at press conferences. She just really, like, proved them wrong. And so did all of the other loved ones that were in the documentary of these people that went missing.
And I loved how outspoken they all were, too. Shannon's mom in particular, there was a recording of her giving an interview where she was literally saying, like, don't call them prostitutes, don't call them hookers. They're more than that. You're demeaning them. Like, I was just so blown away by, like, it just took the right person at the right time with the right drive. And unfortunately, the right reason to really push for it, you know, to get them out there and searching and discovering what the fuck happened to these women. Yeah. It was 1993 to 2011, by the way. Okay, gotcha. That was the earliest body was 93.
Yeah, the earliest body found, which it could have still been happening before then because they don't know how many people he has murdered, unfortunately. But yeah, that was the thing that really got me. And with many of the other cases, like I mentioned, that involve sex workers going missing and being murdered, the first thing you hear police or press or anyone say is a prostitute went missing, a hooker went missing. Like, that is immediately how they are identified. Yeah. Even if we're saying the correct term sex worker, it still shouldn't be a sex worker went missing. If a lawyer or librarian or mom or whatever, like, goes missing, they say a woman. Yeah. Like, why are we giving them this stigma? Like, that defines them. And unfortunately, most of, like, for the women that they were describing, they described how they got into sex work, it was purely because of the economy. They don't have any fucking money, and it's an easy way for them to make money, like, and be their own boss.
Speaking of economies and making money too, one of the things that like really made me roll my eyes in, I think it was like the last episode or the second to last, there's only like 3, so either the middle or the last one, when they were talking about the killer, Rex Huerman. Huerman?
Huerman. It's a strange looking last name.
Yeah.
Huerman.
When Rex
Doesn't fucking matter. Rex piece of garbage.
Yeah. When Mr. Piece of Shit was arrested and his wife filed for divorce, and like they had, you know, the police had gone through and ransacked the house looking for stuff. Some people made comments about, how could you move back in there? But like, shut up.
Right.
Houses in Long Island are expensive.
Exactly.
Oh my God. I don't care. I'd live there.
Yeah. I don't want to give Rex a lot of attention, but his story is also very interesting, like about how he was abused by his father and then stayed. That, you know, the neighbors were talking about, and his cousins and everything. You know, they were talking about him.
He stayed in the house.
He stayed in the house that he grew up in and was abused in, and not only that, it was like a time capsule. He changed nothing about it.
That being said, once again, Long Island houses are expensive. My man's paying no mortgage. I'm not moving either.
Right. There's something wrong with like, you wouldn't even want to change the paint color.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to pick up a little bit, like,
if
crazy.
my mom sold me my childhood home today, I'm painting all the walls.
Yes.
No more browns, no more reds.
Absolutely.
The bathroom is not being blue anymore.
Oh God, why is the bathroom always blue? My bathroom's blue.
But hers is like a dark blue.
Oh, like a navy?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. It does feel like, we've talked about that before, like bathrooms, like, why are bathrooms coastal? No matter where you are.
Oh, fuck
the
yeah.
bathroom is a beach. Seashells, blue.
Mine growing up had puppies and kittens in it.
That's cute. I like that much better.
They're very cute. Like little cartoon puppies and kittens.
Was it like one of those wallpaper borders like around the
No, we didn't. We didn't have wallpaper borders. No, it was like the shower curtain, and then there were like matching pictures, and then there were matching towels that had little paw prints.
That's really cute. I love that.
Yeah, it was very
Have we
cute.
talked about on the podcast, or have I talked to you about what my childhood bedroom was like for a long time before I painted it pink?
I don't think so.
So I was and still am obsessed with animals, specifically like exotic animals. I thought they were just really fucking cool.
They are.
Yeah. And so I wanted my room to have, so I'm talking about wallpaper borders, and I feel like that's a very 90s thing. You don't see them anymore. It's like a less than a foot tall piece of paper that you put in the middle of the wall.
Was it zebra print?
No, it was like a jungle scene. So it had like parrots and like jaguars and stuff. And I wanted the bottom to be the ocean and the top to be the sky. So the top was like or the bottom was like a dark blue and the top was a light blue. And then I had this like jungle comforter and everything. We were going so off topic, but yeah, anyways, it's fine.
Oh, another thing that I thought was really cool too. In the past, the Golden State killer, East Area rapist, whatever you want to call him. One of the ways that we found him, I say we as if I did it. One of the ways that he was found was through ancestral DNA. So like
Ancestry.com or 21andMe. Which one is the one that's went bankrupt and now they're selling everyone? 23andMe is selling everyone's data.
Yeah, that's Taylor Swift's version of a DNA test.
Oh boy.
So I knew that could be used to identify like DNA for the killers. I, for some reason, had never in my little fucking tiny brain thought about it being used to identify the deceased. So when the DA came in, the new one, and she took on the case and started talking about like, we're going to utilize this new technology, I was like,
whoa. Yeah.
Whoa.
And it was like the first thing she did, like,
and it seems so fucking simple.
Well, and that was the really frustrating thing about this case being so mishandled, is not only was there all of this judgment and everything around them being sex workers, but there was just such a mishandling of everything because they were going through this whole corruption case, and these men and the people around them were far more concerned about their own lives and if they were going to go to jail, and like everyone around them was trying to figure out whether or not they were going to out these people. So most of the evidence that helped them find Rex Huerman, the killer, was already there. They
like
didn't,
the phone stuff,
and then like the report about his truck, like that had been reported like 10-12 years before they actually went out, and like because it was such a
oh my god, I'm so terrible with names. Was it Maureen was the girl's name? The one, she had like 2 or 3 people.
Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Yeah,
she had 2 or 3 people. It was like these two guys, one had a beard and one had a tattoo on the side of his head, who were like, we fucking remember that night. She left her phone and we told her like not to go, that this was like super sketchy.
Well, because they had an interaction with the guy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, were you going to say that?
Yeah, basically that. Mm-hmm. And so they reported that fucking, it wasn't a Forester. Was it a Forester? It was some kind of truck, some big
Chevy Avalanche.
Chevy Avalanche.
Yes, which is not a typical Chevy truck. It's they're weird looking. Mm-hmm. And it's like a forest green, so it's again not typical, pretty easy to find. And everyone that described Rex was like ogre of a man, ginormous man. So that's very easy. Like,
I was imagining Shrek when they said that every time.
You don't look that far off, I'm not gonna lie. So there was two things that were funny to me. So the director of the documentary, she talked about how it was funny that, you know, usually when there are documentaries about serial killers and the neighbors are interviewed, they'll say like, oh, he was so normal, he would lead a normal life, like blah 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 blah. These people, when they were like this police presence around their neighborhood and the neighbors start talking, they were like, oh my god, they found the Gilgo killer. And like the first thing people said was, oh, it's Rex, right? So there was that was really funny. And so like they immediately knew like this guy's creepy. And a lot of times when you watch documentaries and you see a person that you know is a killer, you're already biased. So you're like, oh, he gives me the creeps. There was something in his eyes, blah, blah, blah. But I'll be honest, he's scary looking. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, he genuinely, like, the video of him and stuff, he just... Yeah. You can tell, you can tell anyways.
Something's off.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about women being belittled in the media, being taken from their actual titles and their roles in society and just being called, like, women. Mm-hmm. And ironically, we talked about something very similar right before hitting record, which is that today there was a headline about the bassist for Weezer. His wife was shot and arrested for attempted murder.
Wild.
But what I loved about that, or really what I hated, was that, like, she was taken down from her actual role and title as being a really good author and one of the people instrumental in, like, getting Sam Little to confess to murder.
Yeah, so she's a true crime author, very well known.
Yeah.
Like a book author or a documentary?
Yeah, like a book author, yeah. And she was, like, that title was stripped for her and she became reduced to the bassist of Weezer's wife.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just interesting that this has come up.
It happens all the time. Yeah. Like... Yeah, women tend to be identified by their husbands. Yeah, so I do want to say a few of the women's name really quick, just to make sure they're not forgotten. Again, this is only the main Gilgo 4 and then one additional. So right now, like we said earlier, Rex is on trial and he's only being charged with... Is it 4 or 5 that he's like officially charged with? Because he was charged with the one from 1993, I think.
Yeah,
right?
And then he wasn't charged for Shannon's death.
No, not charged for Shannon's. We should talk about Shannon's. Yeah, so there's Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello. Those were the original. They're calling the Gilgo 4. And then Shannon Gilbert is a really crazy one that I almost feel like could have been given like 10 more minutes in the documentary.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that story is crazy, and I do feel like... So the director in the podcast I listened to when she was being interviewed, she talked about how she felt like there was more information about that night when she called 911 that people are not talking about.
Oh, for sure. I completely... And I think part of that, too, is like, number one, soliciting a sex worker is illegal, and number two, being a sex worker is illegal. So I think that what happened, and this is all speculation, right, is that she had whatever altercation she had with the guy at his home. She went out to the driver and she was spooked and freaked out. The driver tried to calm her down and she went to the neighbor, and the neighbor was willing to help her, but he said the police are on their way. And I think she probably bolted because she was afraid of getting hit for solicitation.
Right.
And I think that's also why the guy who she had whatever altercation with,
probably
who had hired her, didn't want to talk about it either.
So she basically, the 911 call, like, you can look it up, and it's I think most of it's in the documentary, but I mean, she basically calls and says, like, she does say these guys, which is interesting. She says plural. At least that's what it sounded like. These guys are trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. And then she sounds panicked, and she's like, leave me alone, leave me alone. Like, she's screaming at people. And so they don't find her body. I think her body is like the last found in this whole scenario. They don't find hers for a long time. The really shitty thing is that it should have been really easy for them to find because her body was located so close to the neighbor's home where she went in and tried to get help from. So it was in a marsh. And the police were trying to say, like, it's really difficult. We need a lot of resources to get in there, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you have the fucking resources because they were able to do it eventually once they got all this public scrutiny. But yeah, they found her body. She was unclothed, and the police still have deemed it an accident. And I think the coroner called it unknown circumstances or something.
Like they couldn't say for certain.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, you know, that makes sense. You have a body that's been outside for, I think at that point, a few years. But for long enough for decomposition, whatever else to take place to happen, like any like flesh wounds or anything along those lines, bruises, etc., probably couldn't really be like
right, exactly.
identified.
So it could be difficult, yeah, and then the moisture and everything. However, one of the, I don't know if they were policemen or how they were exactly involved, but some kind of government official who was involved in this was trying to say that she had hypothermia and that's why she took her clothes off.
So that is a thing that can happen.
Yes.
Like the Dyatlov Pass incident. That's what they believe happened with those hikers. But I don't know. It just seems really fucking weird.
Really fucking weird. And I don't think she was out there that long. And the marsh is right up to a neighborhood. It's not that far from, like, yes, it is difficult to wade through, like, and get through it, but that just seems so unlikely that she was running and had this will to live and, like, trying to save herself to then, I don't want to say give up. That sounds harsh, but like, but it just doesn't make sense.
Something else had to have happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever know, though.
Probably not. And I mean, let's say she did die of hypothermia. She was still obviously being chased out there. So
there's a reason
Rex
she ran.
could have been chasing her out there and lost her, didn't want to, try and find her or anything. And so to me, in that sense, like, he still is responsible. Like, he put her out there in the first place. But so Shannon is unknown cause of death is the official report, but the parents and everyone involved definitely, Shannon's mom has since passed, but really fought for her to be included in this case. But yeah.
Hello, my name is Chrissy Champagne. I am the host and creator of Residue, a true crime podcast dedicated to keeping you paranoid. The reason that I say that I want to keep you paranoid is because I'm one of those 80s kids that grew up watching Oprah, Donahue, Sally Jessy Raphael, and what did I learn from those shows? Never go to the second location, always trust your gut, and always stay paranoid. On Residue, I will tell you stories like the 1906 tragic love story of Grace Brown that inspired the classic Hollywood film A Place in the Sun. And speaking of Hollywood, I also tell true tales of cursed film sets. And I'm going to add in some stories about mean girls that are so scary even Regina George would run. But one thing always ties all of these stories together, and that is the loved ones that are left behind. Residue. Something that remains after the main part has been gone or taken. Join me on Residue, where I will tell you horrific true tales that will teach you to always keep one eye open. Stay paranoid.
Speaking of serial killers, I'm a little annoyed at Facebook, which is pretty standard.
Yeah,
there's been this thing that's been going on.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Oh my god, big eye roll happening for both of us right now.
I think like so there's a good. It's good to have a healthy speculation.
Yes,
a healthy
be aware
distrust.
of what's going on. Yeah,
be aware. Always protect yourself. Look out for yourself. Look out for your loved ones. A couple of days ago, probably actually about a week or two ago, in New England, I got an Instagram reel recommended to me of this woman who was speaking out, and she was saying there were 3 bodies found within the course of a week. One was in Rhode Island, one was in the southeast city, I think Groton, Connecticut, and then the other one was, I think, New Haven. And I don't know why, but she immediately jumped to, there's a serial killer. And obviously, because we're in Connecticut, this began circulating hella Facebook groups. Like, it's everywhere.
Yep, everyone's talking about it.
Yes. And I find it very frustrating because we just can't know that for certain.
No.
Like, number one, like, I saw this and I watched the video, and I think you and I talked about it. I looked up the people that they're saying were like murdered by this serial killer, and it's 2 of them have been identified. The most recent one that was found in Groton has not been identified, but the 2 that were identified are different ages, different races, different like cities and locations. And
Are they both women?
yes, they're all women so far. But I just don't feel like it's really enough information anywhere to establish an MO or a pattern to say willy-nilly that there's a fucking serial killer. Like, I think it's dangerous to say there's a serial killer.
Yes, because you're fear-mongering.
Exactly.
It's dangerous because, well, I shouldn't say that's because why, but like, do you want to talk about the situation with the guy, like, in the cloak with the knife and everything?
Yeah, I'll talk about that too in a second. Well, actually, we'll just bring it up right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's this other story that's going around. This is all happening within the course of, like, the last 2 weeks, where this man was out on a hiking trail, and he was allegedly approached by a tall man in a black long jacket.
Like trench coat or something.
Trench coat with a knife, who followed him around the trail. I don't think that didn't happen. I'm sure that did happen.
Right.
But the immediate jump in the mind of people here has been like,
He's the serial killer.
he's the serial killer. But like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's just because it's a creepy guy.
But like, why? How do you jump from murdering 3 women allegedly to like murdering a man?
Following a man with a knife?
Like, it's just not the same MO to me.
Right. And he didn't try to murder that guy. I think he had like pulled the knife near him or something, but
he
like,
just kind of pulled it out and was like approaching him, and the guy was able to maneuver.
Probably very mentally unwell, on drugs, both. Like, I'm not saying that situation didn't happen and that it wasn't scary, absolutely horrifying.
I'd be fucking spooked. And I don't know. And the thing too with like the way that these neighborhood groups go, like these state communities and stuff. I mean, everybody knows. Like, it's progressed from one person saying, hey, isn't it weird that the police found 3 bodies in the course of a week in different areas, to now I saw somebody in a Facebook group in Connecticut saying, didn't you guys hear about those 3 women that were murdered last week?
And we don't know if they're murdered yet, right?
But they were saying that it happened like all in the same week that the murders happened, when these bodies were found in like, one of the women had been missing for 6 months.
Right.
So you have a body in a state of decay from 6 months of being outside.
Right. Like, we can't say for sure that that's not the case. Like, it could very well be, but it is fear-mongering.
Yeah.
Like, it's fear-mongering. It's jumping to conclusions. And, the local... I'm sure anyone with a Ring camera who lives in a neighborhood, suburban, knows how this shit goes. 9 times out of 10, the notifications I get from the Ring neighborhood app are... I saw a coyote.
Dude, I'm scared about the coyote by my house. But, like,
that's all they'll say is, I saw a coyote. And it's like, okay, they're not going to just hang out where you saw them. And what are you trying to accomplish? So I saw a coyote, and it's like, has anyone seen my garbage bin or something? Like, I don't know. And then people are like, someone stole it. And it's just like, immediately we go to drama.
Someone's going around stealing all the garbage bins.
Literally!
It's a serial stealer.
The serial garbage stealer.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They'll steal your cereal out of your garbage.
Exactly. They love garbage cereal. So do I.
Same. But I don't know. I just thought it was important to bring up within the course of this, because we have like a real serial killer that is like a thing that happened. And then we have this, no offense, this bullshit that's being perpetuated on social media in these groups where we don't have enough information.
Yeah.
Like, stay vigilant, stay alert, stay diligent while you're doing your research.
Yes.
But do the research. Don't just listen to people on the internet when they tell you stuff like that. Well, and just don't jump
to such a big conclusion. Like, stay introspective, like you were saying. Isn't it weird? Let's talk about this. But, like, stay introspective. It doesn't have to, I don't know. It doesn't have to jump to something. Watch in, like, 2 weeks, it'll be confirmed it's a serial killer, and then we have to come on here and talk about
I'd apologize. I would 1,000% apologize, but I think the point still stands.
The point still stands.
My biggest concern, too, with it is, like, let's say that it actually is a serial killer, and people start, because they're afraid, calling into the police all these random fucking suspicious people.
Yeah.
Or somebody who, like...
It's just somebody who looks at you the wrong way, and then they start calling, like, this guy really creeped me out at Walmart. And it's like, okay, that doesn't really help, and now you're wasting our time.
Yeah, and now the police line's being inundated with these nonsense tips. Like,
exactly.
That, for me, is, I think, the biggest concern, is the potential for hindrance of actual good police work.
Yep, exactly, yeah. Very, very much so. I think that's valid.
Yeah. That's really all I got, though. I'm big mad about it still. Do you want to calm me down? Chill me out with
I do, but it's not going to calm me down. Oh. So I do have one headline, and that's purely because...
We're doing. Well, we got.
Well, wait. It's just one little one because it's really good.
Well, can I pick one too?
Okay, yes, you can pick one.
Okay. You go first.
Okay, so I'm picking this one because it's amazing and also because our mutual friend Krista chose it. Krista also actually chose my Cutie Pie Corner.
Yeah?
She sends me the best stuff. Thank you, Krista. I love you.
Aww.
All right. Queensland surgeon fined for sharing photo of patient's swastika tattooed penis.
That was one of yours too. That was saved. You ready for mine?
Yes.
Wisconsin killer who dismembered her boyfriend during meth-fueled sex attacks her own lawyer in court.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Our headlines had the same energy. I live for headlines where every word you don't know what the next
Oh my
word
god,
is gonna
for sure.
be.
Like the fucking I still think about the furry hacker
Oh my God.
group, whatever the fuck.
It was like the furries were upset with the hackers and were like...
They were doxing people that were putting out the DEI
That's
hire
right,
lists.
yes. Yeah, that thing was wild. All right, so now I have something that actually will bring the mood up. So yes, thank you again,
Wait,
Krista.
why would you get a swastika on your
On your penis!
I guess if you really don't want people to know.
That's like a shy Nazi.
Be like, Samantha, I think it's time that I really show you the other side of me. And they pull it out and she's like, oh, it's small? Oh, you're a Nazi.
Would have been fine with small.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So thank you again, Krista. This is my Cutie Pie Corner. Wait, we didn't actually do it. Cutie Pie Corner. Galapagos tortoises at Philadelphia Zoo become first-time parents at nearly 100.
I saw that.
This is the sweetest little story. So these pair of tortoises, Galapagos tortoises, were almost 100 years old, and they had babies. They're so cute. They're so cute.
So
All right.
itty bitty.
So a pair of critically endangered, nearly 100-year-old Galapagos tortoises at the Philly Zoo have become first-time parents. In an announcement Friday, the zoo said it is overjoyed at the arrival of 4 hatchlings, and this is a first in more than a 150-year history. So, first of all, the names of the parent tortoises are so funny. Did you read them?
No, I didn't.
So the male is named Abrazo. The female's name is Mommy.
Women being minimized to their role as a mother and a wife.
But it's funny because she is only a mom now.
Well, she was...
So she arrived at the zoo in 1932, and they named her Mommy. And I think that's funny, especially now, because in, pop culture, everyone's like, Mommy, Daddy, it's like this, sexy little title that you give someone.
Mommy Milky Knockers.
And they brought this turtle in, and they were like, Mommy. All right, so these are the zoo's 2 oldest residents. Like I said, Mommy arrived at the zoo in 1932. Aww. That's crazy. So the quartet of babies are being kept behind the scenes inside the reptile and amphibian house for now. Quote, eating and growing appropriately, the zoo said.
Aww.
They weigh between 70 and 80 grams, which is about the weight of a chicken egg.
That's so
They're
tiny.
teeny little tiny guys, and if you've ever seen a Galapagos tortoise, they're huge.
Yeah.
So these are just little bitty babies. The first egg hatched on February 27th. It says that more could still hatch and are being monitored, but they've got 4 right now. Quote, this is a significant milestone in the history of the Philly Zoo, and we couldn't be more excited to share this news with our city, region, and world. I fucking love that. All right, I'm going to show you some pictures here in a second.
I gotta be I gotta be really honest with you.
Uh-huh.
I had a Cutie Pie Corner that I figured you were going to pick, and it wasn't this one.
No? Which one was it?
I figured you were gonna do the dire wolves, and then I was gonna get angry.
I haven't seen that.
What?
No.
There's this company that's claiming that they've brought dire wolves back from extinction.
Okay.
That they got
company?
Yes. It's like a genetic modification company.
Ew. I don't like any of this.
So
That doesn't sound cute at all.
It's very cute.
Oh, okay.
It's really cute.
Okay.
There are wolf puppies. They took wolf DNA and they just made them bigger and white.
Okay.
That's what the world needs. More big white things.
That's just a bigger wolf.
But the big issue...
Great job. You made a big wolf. Oh, those are fucking cute.
But they're not dire wolves. They're not. They are genetically not dire wolves.
I'm raising my hand. I don't actually know what a dire wolf is. Like, I've heard the word, but I don't know what makes it different from a regular wolf.
It's big.
Oh. Like a bear?
Yeah. Like, they were much larger than our modern wolves, and they went out because they just were too big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thousands of years ago or something like that. I don't know.
So, that just reminded me when I was... I think either middle school or high school age, there was a camp that we used to go to in Colorado every summer, and nearby there was a wolf sanctuary, and you could go and visit. And we didn't do the whole like experience because you could pay and stay there for like, you could stay like overnight and like watch them be fed and all this stuff, but we got to go out there and like see them and everything. It was really, really cool. It was a very nice sanctuary. They were like not handling them and they were feeding them well, and they had this like big rocky terrain that they lived on. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
I want to show you pictures of the little turtles, and I'm going to post these on the video and on social media.
They're so...
Look at his little curmudgeon-y face.
So mad to be alive.
Literally.
Me too, buddy.
They're the kind of animal that is born looking like a grandpa.
They're born looking like
they're
adults.
Already... So here's all 4 of them being held, and they're all being held in one hand. Like, these guys are really tiny. This one is my favorite. He's upside down and pissed. He's pissed. And that's Mommy.
Long neck. Ugh.
That's Mommy.
I just want to punch it. Like, it's little fleshy bits, just like a little punching bag.
But but look at this thing. That's gotta have a name, right? And do you think it's squishy? Or is that the bottom of the shell?
I think it's the bottom of its shell.
Yeah, I want to touch it.
You ever seen a turtle penis?
Yeah, because remember in like 2008, the turtles sex video was going around
with it humping the shoe.
Yeah, and it's making
so weird.
Wait, no. The one I'm talking about, it was actually 2 turtles like doing it.
And it goes like,
ugh. Yes.
Well, there's like the tiny turtles when they hump things, they go.
Yeah, it's like a.
It's very cute.
Yes, because growing up in the YouTube was basically just invented age, it was like, let's have a party.
Yeah.
30 people come over and we're all going to watch a video of these turtles having sex.
That's what you do now.
That's what like 2008 was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what I do now. You're not gonna lie.
Well, I think we are about at the limit for
I think that's it. But that was fun. If you ever have any other similar stories that you'd like us to cover versus our normal headlines, let us know. But that was a really, really interesting one. It was Haley's idea to do that, which I was all about. And initially I was like, oh, I'm not going to have time to watch this. And I flew through it. It was great. I listened to the podcast. It was very good. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you for doing it with me.
Absolutely. I do want to give a quick shout out to a couple of listeners. So we have 2 very avid listeners, fans, who often leave us wonderful comments on our Spotify page. So one of them is Jaden with a bunch of hearts around your name and sparkles. Thank you, Jaden, for all of your wonderful comments. Thank you for listening.
So much. We really appreciate it.
And then our second one is Kiko and Toya. You always leave wonderful comments. Thank you both for listening, leaving really sweet comments on every episode. It means a lot to us. Keep on doing so, and we wanted to shout out for you.
We love feedback. We love hearing from you guys.
Yes.
It makes it like a lot more like engaging, I guess.
It makes it feel real that people are actually listening to us.
Like I'm not just tossing it out into the void to be forgotten about in half a year.
Exactly. Yes. So thank you. But yeah, I think we can wrap it up. Thanks for listening to this mini episode, and keep on making it weird. Goodbye.
If you liked our episode, please leave us a review on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at Make It Weird Pod.
Got something weird you want to share with the world? Send it over to us at makeitweirdpod@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening to Make It Weird. Bye!